But football without fans is nothing. It can be the greatest game in the world. If there are no people there to watch it, it becomes nothing.
Johnston. And a goal by Johnston. That makes it 2 by him.
We were magnificent. Magnificent.
Larson. Oh, he's in. Henrik Larsson. That is sensational. Nakamura.
The game is over. The Rebels have won.
He's done it! Jarman's put it in, and without a doubt, the European Cup is on its way.
We'll never stop. We'll stop at half time and we'll stop at the end of the game when we celebrate.
It's a crack tips. Jungle Jumps podcast. Apologies, we're a couple of minutes late because, as usual, just before we're about to go live, we end up with some technical difficulties.
Amateurs, Paddy, man.
I know, mate. I know, mate.
But I can see your lovely face now, so it's all good.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. So me, Paddy in the chair, Gav's half a night with the cold, McGinty on the left, and the wee fella at the bottom, Dale O'Reilly for the Celtic Supporters podcast, joins us all the way from Fort William. What's happening, Dale?
Yes.
And McGinty, how are you guys?
All good, mate. I spoke to you last week. Obviously, I'm away up here for 5 weeks, so a wee stint on the weeklies is very much appreciated, as it always has been welcomed onto the Jungle Gyms. I always thoroughly enjoy it. So, good evening, Tips, and I'm looking forward to it, guys.
Definitely good evening as well. And I was just saying to Dale earlier on there, can't believe Dale's been on 5-6 podcasts of the Jungle Gyms podcast, and this is the first time I'm getting to speak to him live on the show. How's that happened?
Mate, he's been avoiding you like the plague.
I thought it was the other way around there.
Well, since Dale's not been on anyway, for some strange reason, Dale McGinty's he's a football shirt maniac. He collects them. Fucking need these business. So we always need to usually ask him what he's wearing. For the fact that I want to know what he's wearing, like some sort of strange guy.
On the bottom half,
what is your tap?
This one is LA Galaxy's away shirt for the last season. I think MLS actually used a shirt for 2 years in a row, which is uncommon these days in football circles. But this is their throwback, I think, to 1994, I believe. It's one of the 90s anyway, but a modern take on it. Nice kind of black and green stripe.
I was just going to say that. It looks like a very modern shirt for that age, man. It looks fucking cracking.
Oh no, it's not. I've not kept this since 1994. No, no, it's definitely the modern ones. I only bought it, I think, 3 weeks ago, along with.
I get this one for my 4th birthday. Still fits me.
All 10 years ago.
44, he said. 44.
44.
No far away yet.
Anyway, enough about your taps, you pair of plonkers. Kicking into the weekly events. Obviously, today there was a big piece of news come out regarding off-the-field matters. I'm pretty sure, guys, you know what it's all about. What I'm going to say to yourselves and the viewers is that because it's still an ongoing legal matter, I don't think we should have any conversation about it as such until at a later time. I don't particularly want to speak about it because it's horrific and what it is, and obviously, as I say, it's still ongoing, so I think we should just kind of body swerve that. Everybody can read the news on their own accord, and everybody can kind of keep up to date with that. So if you're all right, we'll kind of avoid that subject just now. While it's still kind of fresh in. Other than that, there was another bit of news today, which is a very, very strange one, I think. There's going to be there's reports suggesting that there's going to be a glamour tie in November in Australia. Celtic, I think, have confirmed that it's maybe their involvement, but potentially going to be a 4-team event, and one of them is going to be including the other mob for Govan.
They can get this so far to fuck. It's unreal.
I was literally just about to ask you your thoughts, McGinty, but thanks for telling us, mate.
No, this broke earlier on this morning, late this morning, early afternoon, and the rumours started circling that we're going to play a glamour-friendly old firm as it was breaking on the social media tie in Australia, and it's just absolutely baffling. the statement comes out from Celtic where they announced that we're going to play in a 14 tournament, and they sidestep completely announcing any of the representatives in this 14 tournament. I mean, there has to be another 3 teams. One of them, apparently, is the Rangers Football Club. Another 2, they couldn't even name. So the fact they've no named them, I think they know fine well that they're going to get hounded for this one. There's some severe backlash. But Celtic, we should not be entertaining this mob. Out with the league campaigns. We should not be entertaining this mob.
Aye.
Stop funding their money. Surely this is a Celtic thing because we've got Ange Postecoglou. We're going over to Australia. They built it up as the kind of homecoming of Ange going back to Australia. That's brilliant. Let's us batter the market and like fuck for it. Let's us go to Australia. Let's us play Melbourne City. I think it was that he used to manage. Let us maybe get Yokohama involved in it. Maybe get Vissel Kobe involved in it. The team that Kyogo was playing for previously. I'm not saying that just so we can get exposure with Iniesta and all there, but let's us market us. Why are we letting these fuckers tag on? Fuck that.
Yeah. Honest to God, McGinty, me and Paddy spoke probably about 6:30, just before we came on to the podcast, and I almost just said exactly fucking word for word what you just said, mate. Honest to God, no bullshitting. I don't think we should be entertaining them. I think if you're going to a tournament in Australia, then you're only going there for one reason, and it's to make your club money. So, as you say, we're on because of the affiliation with Ange Postecoglou. So, why fucking tie these cunts along and give them any money? Play Melbourne. I can't remember the team that Ange started his managerial career when he started playing football.
Was that it?
No,
play these guys. And what Paddy says was that there's probably a lot of Australian fans that are Celtic fans that this could possibly be their only chance to see Celtic playing Rangers. Without sounding disrespectful, I don't really give a fuck.
No, I agree. And I mentioned this on, I can't remember if it was in the group chat with Paddy or if I mentioned it on one of the message boards as well. I would love to see Barcelona versus Real Madrid. Absolutely would love to see it. But I don't expect it to rock up to Glasgow for my benefit. I'll go to Spain and watch that game.
Aye.
You know, I'd love to see a Milan derby. I'm not expecting them to come to Glasgow either, or even London.
Right, I'm going to take my tinted glasses off for a moment. Right, I'll wait to put them back on, but I'll take them off for a wee second. So you think about football, right? Football's a worldwide sport, and we can get people to come from all corners of the world to come and play for us, for talking's sake. So would it be without a massive stretch of imagination that we can bring sport to the people? Do you know what I mean? Surely that is going to be a wee bit of responsibility for some teams as well. So we talk about Celtic supporters still, as you say, we were speaking about it off camera. There's reportedly a large Celtic supporting crowd in Perth, in Australia.
Yeah.
And I'm probably imagining that there's going to be, because obviously expats, Scottish and whatnot, there's probably going to be a lot of Sevconians in Australia as well. Right? No that I care about them, to be perfectly honest, right? But aye, there's probably going to be people in Australia who are massive Celtic supporters getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning to sit and watch the football. You know what I mean? As passionate as you and I guys are about Celtic, but will probably never get the chance to actually see Celtic playing a game against their rivals. Do you know what I mean? So for that occasion, it could be a massive thing for these guys to see. I know you're shaking your head, mate, but I'm just talking in general, right? Like how nice would it be if we were sitting in Australia, we were Australians, and we never got to see Celtic playing them, and for once we actually got to see it on my own crowd, my own patch. You know what I mean? But at this, on you go, mate.
No, I can see your point as a worldwide brand and want to kind of push the derby to different countries and stuff, but you don't see Boca Juniors and River Plate playing in fucking England. You don't see Man U and Liverpool. Well, Man U and Liverpool have actually played a few times in Asia Cups and stuff, but what what other big rivalry in world football goes and plays in different countries? It doesn't happen. I think Celtic and Rangers is possibly an exception due to the fact that this is me with my green tinted glasses 100% off, that if it goes to Australia, there's a very, very big chance that there'll be trouble. I've got no doubt in my mind. Without sounding like the rotten go wherever they go and cause fucking trouble, that will happen. The other point is, it's an international break, so who are Celtic taking to this game? What players are they taking? And if you've got first team players that are in internationals, are you flying them 20 hours to a different fucking country to then come back? And I can see the point of the Australian fans and the global brand and stuff like that. I can see your point, Paddy, but my overriding feeling is go and play the Asian teams, Angie's former teams, Kyogo's, guys that are closer round about, the rock mob for across the Clyde. Just leave them at it, man. Get them to fuck. I'm not interested in it.
Well, the other couple of points that I was going to raise to counter that, what I said earlier on, Dale, was that obviously, if I don't know who's actually came up with this idea. I don't know if it's been driven by Celtic. I don't think so, but I think obviously we've been invited, we've accepted. The other teams probably been part of that invitation as well. So it's one of these things. It's not like a thing that was actually kind of driven by us to go out with them to go and make money together. But as you know, mate, most kind of revenue circles will try and get both to get that kind of exposure. The old firm, as it used to be called. I think, for me, personally, in my opinion, I am certainly not up for it because I don't want any kind of association with them other than try to beat them at every single point. And number two, as you said, what other teams can I do this? For me, this is very much like the NFL coming to like London to come and play one of the, I don't know, a league match, whatever the fuck they call it in their kind of sector. But I don't like that, mate. I know, as I say, it can be all fancy, dancy, razzle dazzle, but nah, it's
So there was a point. There's a point, I think, a year or two ago, maybe just before COVID, and La Liga had tried to arrange for a whole weekend's fixtures to be played in like Saudi Arabia or Dubai or somewhere daft. And I think the vast majority, if not all the clubs, actually patched that idea and threatened to boycott the league and all that crap, just to basically say, look, this is just not on. And that was to try and move actual league games, which is absolutely spot on. That should not be getting moved outside your country. Doing that is very much like the NFL stuff coming over to Wembley and London and whatnot. It's for the branding. And I get it that you can turn around and say, well, sometimes these fans in Australia wouldn't ever get a chance to watch Celtic. They're going to be given the chance to watch Celtic. And if they're that much of a diehard fan as we are, and I'm not saying some of them aren't, some of them are all expats, everything, of course they're diehard fans, but they equally surely wouldn't want to play Rangers outside of Scottish football and support them financially. Let's not go down that route. And then if you factor in the fact that it's during the kind of break in the middle of the season, we're not getting a winter break next year. The World Cup is going to be an unofficial winter break, but it's a World Cup. So guys like Kyogo, Maeda, Hatate, Rogic, even Giamakis maybe, whoever else, they're all going to be playing at the World Cup. So what's the fucking point in going to Australia if we can't even take Tam Rogic? Exactly, it's for money. So we're going for money. So why be dragging this mob with us to help fund them?
It's money and it's exposure. It's jumping on the bandwagon of the Ange train in Australia. Dale, I think it was yourself that said something about playing Angie's ex-teams that he played, Manny. So there's a Danielle making a comment. Not think it would be better if we play all of Angie's Aussie teams.
Yeah, 100%. And as McGinty touched on, you've got the Yokohama Marinos and guys like that who are a couple of hours in a flight away. So why no? The Japanese fans and the Asian contingent this year, with the players we've signed, have been absolutely phenomenal. And it's kind of harping back to the Nakamura era. So I am with you, McGinty. So if we go to Australia, play Angie's ex teams, get the guys like Yokohama over, and
at least there's something.
The people that are. It
makes sense to play these teams, and it makes sense for us to promote 100%. It, and it's our marketing, surely, because I don't see where the Rangers marketing is going to come from this, apart from tagging on with us. They don't have a marketing pool here. I know there's a large support for them over in Australia. That's one thing. They know they'll sell out a stadium for, but the marketing and the PR is surely on the back of Ange and the Japanese players coming through. So I really struggle to understand why we're allowing them to jump on the bandwagon. And to reiterate the point, it's going to end up being a B squad that goes over there. There's going to be a half dozen to a dozen folk at the World Cup itself. We're not going to risk players that get injured on such a long journey. We're going to be playing reserve and fringe players. So your hardened fans over in Australia who are thinking, yes, not seen Celtic since 2011, I think it was, going to get a chance to see them. They're just going to see a club playing Celtic colours. They're not going to see the strongest 11. So what difference does it make who we play? Really?
See, just to add into that, guy's right. So obviously, as I said earlier, I'm not exactly sure who's driving this friendly tournament, if you want to call it. So there's 4 teams been invited, as far as I know. I'm sure Celtic have said that they're going to go for it. So if the other team, for Glasgow, is invited and they accept it, they're still going to get a trip. They're still going to get a trip to Australia to get, obviously, exposure, financial, recouping financial, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So even if Celtic were to say, no, we don't want to do it because we don't want use, well, they're going to go ahead and they're going to get the exposure and get whatever financial benefits for it. So if they're
let them fund it.
I know, but hold on, let me finish. What I'm saying is, if they're getting it, then if we've already been invited, then I don't actually see the point, now that I'm thinking about it, and no going. Especially if we're not going to be taking a full team, most likely. We're going to be playing fringe players, younger guys, maybe 1 or 2 guys that will come out and kind of run around the lap, maybe a Rogic who could be in Australia at the same time anyway. I don't know.
James McCarthy, can send James McCarthy.
Best reason for signing him for 4 years. So tell me then, Paddy, and I know you don't know the answer to this, and I'm just kind of going along with it. Who's inviting us? And why are they inviting us? And why are they inviting both us and them? Because if they're going to invite them anyway and us, it's for money because they want both of us.
Aye, of course it is. But what I'm saying,
if we refuse, will they still get the invite?
Well, I would imagine so.
I'm speaking theoretically.
I don't know.
Exactly. Hypothetical. None of us know the answer to that.
There's James Young. Can you tell us, lads, what is the subject here? Excuse my ignorance, please inform. James, basically today, mate, there's been cheeky bugger. Basically, mate, there's been a report come out in the last few hours that Celtic, the Rangers, and another 2 teams have been invited to a kind of friendly tournament in Australia in November. And as far as I'm aware, I think Celtic's accepted. So we're kind of touching upon the fact that we may possibly be playing a friendly against the Rangers in Australia in November next season.
You want to go, Paddy?
What's that?
You want to go?
Have you got a ticket?
No, listen, it's absolutely murder getting tickets for away games. You'll probably don't get one.
Yeah, I know, mate. I know, absolutely. So like I say, that's kind of my opinion on it. Like, you know, it could be a chance for worldwide support to actually physically get to see games that they would never ever see. But again, like, is that something that we think is going to benefit the club? Is it going to benefit us as a club, or is it going to be one of the ones where we're going to be kind of deemed the same as, like, you know, look at your tap there, Del, CR Smith. You know, you had one sponsor with CR Smith, and the other club had to be sponsored by CR Smith, and then that went for years.
That's my brother.
Daniel again. Always very informative. Listen to Angie's press conference today, and he thinks the tournament would be good to keep the fitness up of the players and not at the World Cup. McGinty, what do you say about that part?
What? Aye.
Well, we're
Aye.
treating it like I presume we're going to treat it like we normally would a winter break outside of last season and this season with COVID stuff. It's a warm weather training camp. We'll have a month and a half off. We can still go do a warm weather training camp. We can still go to Australia or Japan if that's what we chose and play these teams, as we've said already. I just really don't see the point why we have to be tagging along with them or letting them tag along with us, whatever way you want to look at it.
So I take it we're kind of unified on the fact that we don't want it to go ahead then.
Aye. I want it to go ahead. I just don't want them involved.
No, I think that as well. I think that taking a kind of second string squad that aren't involved in World Cups, then why no? But why involve them? But listen, as what it is, it looks like as if it's going to happen. So I think you get closer to the time, there'll be a lot of people's knickers in a twist, and it'll be a big fucking hullabaloo. But as well, we'll get bigger fish to fry. So that's it, innit? We've got more important things to deal with.
Aye, absolutely. And the last comment for the viewers on that one, Alan Woods. Evening, guys. I think Celtic should go to Australia, but not play them. I don't want that lot gaining cash off Celtic's popularity, helped by Ange. Aye, absolutely. But again, like, are they going to get invited anyway? You know what I mean? Would be as well going. Would we be as well going? I don't know. Right. So aye, obviously, myself and Gavin done the last post-match. McGinty, seems that Dell's disappeared from me.
Dell's just became a black square.
I know. I'm just actually clearing all my shit after this because I was just clearing all my stuff off my iPad because it was getting a bit free. Obviously, I'm in William and McGinty will be experiencing some of the same problems as me. As the Wi-Fi signal isn't very good, so I was just
clearing all my in the meter.
Ah, sorry, mate. Don't you worry about
history. Just clearing some of the history.
Aye, make sure you delete that before you go home, mate, right? Aye, so as I was saying, myself and Gav, we done the post-match after the Hibs game at the weekend. So obviously we haven't heard the opinion from you guys on it, but myself and Gav are basically raging, absolutely raging at the first and foremost, the performance by the players, the way it was set up. I thought it was very negative. And clearly, obviously, the result was detrimental to the season as far as I was concerned. But then, obviously, a couple of hours later, we got a reprieve when the scores came in for Ibrox that the team from up your neck of the woods, Dale, had managed to snatch a draw at Ibrox. So that was that was a massive let up because it would have taken our lead at the top down to one point if that other team had won. But as we know, it was back to 3 points. It could have been 6 points, but at least it's still 3, which is certainly a lot better. So, McGinty, just on yourself first, mate. What was your thoughts about the game against Hibs?
Dire. I think me and you. I think it was me and you. I know it was me and you did the in-game commentary over on the Twitch channel during the match, and it was dire. It was poor. It was arguably the worst kind of game I've seen.
McGinty, I'm really sorry, mate. I just need to interrupt you there for 2 wee seconds because there's a comment came in for Derek.
Oh, right, mate. Oh, for fuck's sake. You try to make
him blush.
Great hero and fuck's sake. Well, I've been up here for the best part of a week. That's obviously the missus. I've not seen the wee man for a wee while. So, hi, wee man. How are you?
Bless.
Jay, I'm here tomorrow night for a wee couple of days, mate. That was nice, Paddy. Thanks for that, mate. Appreciate it.
Sorry about that, McGinty, mate. But
not quite all right. I've totally lost my flow, but that's nice to see. The game itself it was just dire, to be honest. One of the worst performances I've seen this season, and that's something you don't want to say too often. As you say, it was good that we never lost ground. They dropped points as well, so we kind of get out jail free card there. But the almost kind of what could have been if we got that victory, if we got that goal that we we didn't really deserve, and it's not often you can say that we don't deserve to win a game of football.
Penalties.
Let's hope it's the kick up the arse that we desperately been needing in the last 3-4 weeks now.
Aye.
Dale, I know me and you, mate, we've kind of spoken length at times about the games against Livingston last year at the start of the season, you know, the kind of back-to-back disappointment that we got up in the Tony Macaroni and then at Celtic Park. For me, that game at the weekend, we actually played worse than what we did against Livingston, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think our approach to the game was so negative at points. Wasn't it always negative? We did try and go forward, but it was always out wide again, and we went back to the same old tactics of trying to cross the ball in against Porteous and the other boy at centre half, and we had Dyson Maida up front, who is I think he's about 5'6". So again, that's why it reminded me of the Livingston game, but it was even worse because, you know, we had an even smaller guy in the box, and we're still trying to put crosses into him because the first game was obviously Kyogo, and then I think the second one was probably Jackie Marcus later on in the game. So again, just the same questions we posed to McGinty for yourself. What did you think of the game, and what's your thoughts? How do we move on for that kind of lacklustre performance?
I thought it was piss poor from start to finish, mate. Without harping over fucking old ground. I was on a space last night as I spoke to you with McGinley and Andy and Pedro and the guys on Twitter, and I had kind of went through a similar conversation that I just thought, mate, I've spoken about it for so long since I've just been in charge. I don't know how many times I've said plan B. I'm actually fucking sick hearing myself saying it. I'm fucking sick to death of hearing myself saying it. But I'm Ange Ball along the way, by the way. 100% I'm in. I can see his vision. I can see where he's going. I can understand what he wants to do. He could take a leaf out of Bodo Glimt's book, 1,000,000%, and that's where we could be next year. But at the weekend, I just thought we were lacklustre. As I've said on a couple of Twitter posts and thingies, I think Maida for me has been the most disappointing signing after the fanfare. Me and you spoke about it, Paddy, when Adaguchi and Hatate and Maida were coming in. Maida was the guy every Celtic fan was looking at because of the YouTube videos. I was so excited. I'm 100% not writing the guy off. I just think that at the weekend his first touch was terrible, albeit out wide. That there was very, very little coming in for him to get on the end of. But as you said, you're crossing a guy into somebody that's fucking 2 inches bigger than Jimmy Cranky and expecting him to win headers against guys like Scott Porteous and that, or Ryan Porteous, sorry. It's not going to happen. So I feel as if the Glasgow Derby has certainly glossed over a very, very poor period of football with Celtic. 100%. Either side of us playing Rangers has not been good. Fir Park, sorry, was a good performance, but I don't know. I don't know if the squad, even though it's fruitful, we've got a lot more players. Looking back to the Ross County game and Ralston scored late on, that the squad looks healthy, but at the weekend, the one player that's been in the squad for the last 4 or 5 weeks, Karamoko Dembele.
Here we go.
No.
Here we go. No, I know, mate. Sorry, listen. You've not been on with McGinty yet, and he's a massive advocate. I Karamoko Dembele, and my God, man. I just think
that there's an 18 player squad for match day. Obviously, Ange Postecoglou has been watching this boy, and he's been named in the last 4 or 5 squads, possibly. I think. Mm-hmm. Why sit him on the bench? Why are you at Easter Road, drawn 0-0 with 10 minutes to go, and you're putting this boy in the 18-team match day squad? put him on. Fucking play him. And the deviation Ange has now made, and I think I spoke to you as well, Paddy, that Harold Starfelt, Cameron Carter-Vickers, and you've got your two wing-backs. I've never seen Ange change into a back three. Why not with 10 minutes to go? Why not take off a Greg Taylor or whoever it may be and go a back three and throw Karamoko on? I think we struggled a wee bit at the weekend with Big Giamakis not being there, but and winding it up, poor performance, and I think we need to up our game massively. Tomorrow night, St Mirren's the first one we need to do it, mate.
Well, before we get into wax's lyrical about wee Karamoko, obviously Ange has played a back three this season, and that was against St Johnstone, Perth, I think. Something that really annoyed me for the weekend, Dale, was the fact that the players that was on the pitch were brought in after being rested against Bodo. So we've almost forfeited the European game against Bodo, humped again as usual, and the expectation that we then go on and charge on again in the league. We bring guys in that were rested, and the guys looked totally deflated. And the biggest thing that annoyed me was Ange only making one substitute, and rightly or wrongly, Karamoko was only one of the few attacking options that we had. And Postecoglou's comments after the match and all really, really rankled me as well, because he basically blamed Hibs for sitting back. But McGinty, I'm just going to pass it over to you, mate, about me Karamoko. Let's hear your thoughts on him, buddy.
So, I'll give you some thoughts on him, which is pretty much like most people who actually have some high hopes for the lad. But going back to the game and that lineup, the fact we only made one sub is absolutely baffling. Now, before the game and during the early parts of it, we were talking about the likes of Karamoko on the bench, and I'll hold my hands up. I did not expect to see Karamoko come onto the pitch unless we were 3-4-0 up going into the last 15 minutes, then you get a run out. That seems to be what Ange has done in the past, where you look at like say Moffat and Doak coming on. It's always been once we've been leading quite comfortably, and they can kind of come on and just have a bit of fun and get a bit of experience in their legs. That I get, but I don't get is that we had Karamoko Dembele on the bench as a young, promising, exciting 18-year-old, well, 19-year-old now, that Ange clearly does rate, considering the fact he was in the pre-season squads before he got injured, and he's been straight back into the matchday squads as soon as he could get the opportunity to. But we also had James Forrest, who has had game time all season whenever he's been available, and has unfortunately been off the pace this season. So at some point during that game, Ange has decided that only one substitution was allowed. He didn't want to make another one.
Could have made 5, exactly.
We all could see that Maeda was not the answer through the middle, crossing the ball into what should have been a 6'2" striker when you've got a 5'6" bloody forward there. Maeda wasn't working. We said it during the game, put Abada through the middle, put Maeda out on the right. And at that point, if Maeda still wasn't cutting it, you would make a substitution for a right winger. We had 2 of them on the bench, an exciting young prospect and one who's an experienced campaigner who's off form. So if you weren't going to play the experienced campaigner or the youngster, why did we have 2 of them on the bench if neither of them were going to be deemed good enough at all at any point in the game? It was a bit baffling. As for Karamoko himself, really excited to see him get some more game time. Really disappointed that it's his last season under contract, so I'm really hoping he gets a few game times with Ange Postecoglou in charge, and we somehow convince him that his future is here at the club for the next few years and get him on another contract, because I think we will be really, really kicking ourselves if we let this kid go. It's good to see the words coming from Ange. I think it was today or yesterday saying that he is going to be in the squad a bit more often. He is going to get game time later on as the league goes on. And I think that's probably more aligned with once we know we're comfortable. But just to bring another point and maybe to change the subject a little bit, I saw some rumours today that a certain right back from Celtic who now plays for Leverkusen is actually being scouted quite heavily by Bayern Munich and even the likes of Barcelona, and young Jeremy Frimpong, which again, if you want my point of playing youngsters, there's a youngster from the last couple of years, Jeremy Frimpong, who was basically treated like crap and not developed by Neil Lennon and the Celtic team overall. We failed to develop youngsters that he ended up wanting to leave anyway. He played 6 months at Leverkusen, comes back to Celtic Park, looks a totally different player, and is now being scouted by Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and likes. We're going to kick ourselves if we let this happen to Karamoko as well.
Yeah. I think if you look at Frimpong, I totally agree. You watch him in the Bundesliga, he looks like a 40-50 million pound right wing back, or whatever you want to call him. But I think McGinty, that's where countries like Scotland, Germany, Spain, Italy are in a totally different fucking stratosphere. If you go back to the 60s and the 70s and the players that Scotland had nationally, and still now, if you look at the likes of Kieran Tierney and Andy Robertson and guys like that, look at Norway, Iceland, and all these countries that no consistently qualify for big tournaments, but their youth development is so much better than a country like Scotland that has 5.5 million, 6 million people living in it now. The youth development, the structure at the professional football clubs needs to be totally rejuvenated from top to bottom. I think you're a good Scottish football team, and I'm not blowing fucking smoke up Kieran Tierney's arse because I know the family and stuff. Kieran's where he is now because he 100% hard fucking work. I think guys like Jeremy Frimpong, Karamoko Dembele, and guys of a similar ilk, if they're in the Bundesliga or Spain or wherever they may be, then the system in their countries benefits them so much more than it does in Scotland. That's why our system's fucked, because the coaching system and whatever it be has been absolutely bollocked since I've been born. If you look at the Scottish national team over the last 50 years, you nitpick Dinky Johnson, Ken Howe, blah, 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 wee bits and bobs all the time. And then you get Spain and Germany, where they have massively successful youth teams for a long period of time. So, but is that also because we like to drink bucky and smoke fags? I don't know. It's a totally different culture wherever you may be, but it's an
I'm pretty sure there's a few 16-year-old Spaniards drinking some sangria up the back of a beach somewhere.
Aye.
So, so at the beginning, obviously, Ange did say that Dembele's probably going to get some game time. We would assume that would be towards the end of the season, but again, like for me, I don't think he wants to be here, mate. I think he wants to go down to England, which
I don't think so. I'm going to bring it back up the point from. No, I think we're in a totally different situation to Pharaoh's.
You think so?
He proved that he had a bad attitude. Karamoko has not proven to have a bad attitude yet. There's there's innuendo that he's got a bad attitude. He had the opportunity to go out on loan and he refused it. And some people reckon that's a sign of a bad attitude, that he has too much of an ego and the rest of it. For me, that's a sign of the lad's confidence. The kid's been playing 2 years. He's playing 2 years younger than his age group for all of his youth campaign. He gets to the age of 16, 17, where he's breaking the barriers at the under-18s. He's chapping at the door to play in the first team at a point where we didn't have a reserves team or Colts team or whatever you want to call it. We didn't have that. And he's chapping at the door at Lennon to give him a game time, saying, look, I can play. Got the confidence in him. We offered to send him out on loan to some fucking no-mark team, no doubt. And he says, no, I want to play. That's confidence to me. There's no attitude there. He wants to play football. He's better than everybody else at his age levels. But he gets to a point where he ends up a year and a half, 2 years, where he's stuck in no man's land, and Len is refusing to develop him. Len is refusing to play him. He did it with many other players. We saw it for 2 years while Leno was here. This is not a Dembele issue. But unfortunately for us as Celtic, we kind of now need to sell the club again to him. And I think that's what Andrew's potentially doing with announcing him in every matchday squad that he possibly can the last couple of weeks and announcing that he's going to get game time as the season goes on. I think we're trying to convince him that he's got a future here for the next couple of years if he wants it.
Yeah.
And you've got faith that if that was the case, then he would take that rather than try and jump ship to England.
I think we still need to prove to him that we're going to do it, and I think we'll get there eventually. But yeah, I think we're trying to sell ourselves to him because he's surely a talent. This kid, when he was 13, when he was 16, and even when he was 17, he was getting linked and scouted by every major club across Europe. Clubs are aware of this kid. He's not going to go down south to a championship or a League One team, whatever it is, for the sake of chasing some money. He's going to stay here if we can prove to him and offer him game time. Because he's going to look at the likes of Kieran Tierney, he's going to look at the likes of Frimpong and he knows where he can go.
Why are you so confident in that, McGinty, that he wouldn't go to England to chase money? Or if you remember rightly, it was obviously he was playing for Scotland and then he chose to go and play for England, which was his right because that's the country that was born in. I think he had the choice between Scotland, England, and Ivory Coast or something like that. I do apologise. I don't actually remember the African country, but it was a couple of teams that he could have chose for, and he chose England, which was the place he's buff, which is fine. But as we probably can imagine, he's doing it the squads with England. He's making friends. He's got the players doing in England, whispering in his ear, "What you doing up there? Come on down here." His brother plays down there. I think his two brothers played down there, and I think. As James Young alluded to in the earlier comment that we showed, that his brother plays with Bournemouth.
Philip. Oh, Bournemouth, sorry, Bournemouth.
Of course he's got that chance that he would. I'm not going to announce that the kid's not going to do that because that would be foolish. I just don't believe that I don't believe he's the type of character that's going to chase a mid-table relegation battle squad down there for the sake of a couple of years. When he knows second-hand, that if you play like Kieran Tierney or Jeremy Frimpong, you will get a European team chasing you within the next 2 years if he plays well for Celtic. And he's got belief in himself. And I think the whole of Europe knows that he can play in European competitions. And you'll get that in Celtic. He'll be a mug to go down to Bournemouth.
Right, okay. Have you got anything else to add on to Karamoko Dembele, Dale? Because I'm glad for you, McGinty, mate. You finally had your platform to release all your opinions.
Feel so much better.
On this no mark reserve squad player who you believe is the next Messi.
I'm good with moving on. That Karamoko Dembele's the next Messi. I'm with McGinty. Next subject, please.
I think you two guys better stop drinking. But next subject is obviously the big game tomorrow. We are going to be back at Celtic Park underneath floodlights. Wednesday game.
Yes.
And it's going to be against St Mirren. So obviously, as we spoke about earlier on, the two teams at the top throughout the weekend. So Celtic currently still sit top of the league. 28 games played, 67 points. Go on the Celts. And the Jobbies are in second place with 64 points.
Good job.
So it's going to be Celtic at Parkhead playing St Mirren, whereas the other team are away to Perth to play St Johnstone. So obviously St Mirren have got a new manager. Stephen Robinson was brought in from Morecambe to replace Jim Goodwin, who went to Aberdeen. St Johnstone have been pretty much piss poor under Callum Davison this year after the double cup winning exploits of last year. So obviously, first and foremost, we're going to want to go out tomorrow onto the pitch and secure the 3 points. But I think what we want to see as well is we want to see a wee bit of fluidity in the team and bring back some decent performances again. And obviously, on the flip side of that, we want to see the other mob dropping points in Perth. So, do you guys? What do you guys think that we need to do different for Hibs? We can do tomorrow against St Mirren. Dale, I'll fling that one at you, buddy, first.
I think getting into the home games this year, that it's always been if you're playing at Paradise, you always think you're going to win. End of. I think I've only missed one game this year at Parkhead, and it was the best game ever that I gave you my ticket for. You prick.
Some man.
So I think this year at Park, if you're a Celtic fan and you're going to Parkhead, you're playing Motherwell, you're playing St Mirren, you're playing Livingston, you're playing Dundee United, every single team I've just mentioned, then we've struggled against them this year. We've really, really struggled against teams that we expect after Angie's early exploits in the league that you beat Dundee 6-0 at home, then we struggled to beat them 3-2. We scored the last minute winner against Motherwell. We drew against Dundee United. We struggled against Livingston. And tomorrow night, I think every Celtic fan who's a season ticket holder going to the game, or guys like McGinty and myself who are sitting in the Shetland and Fort William will be sitting watching the game, are thinking it's a walkover. And
no,
with it sounding too fucking negative, if you look at the home result and how much we've struggled at Paradise this year, I'm thinking tomorrow night 4 or 5-0. That's what I'm saying. 4 or 5-0. But it's no as cut and fucking blow dry as that. So I'll stick my neck in the line as I always do, and I'm always fucking wrong. So don't be running to Ladbrokes with this one. But Celtic 4, St Mirren 0, St Johnstone 1, Rangers 0. Get it on. Get it on, folks. And do not be phoning to get your fivers back, because my name's Derek O'Reilly, not William Hill. A big result for Celtic and a draw for Rangers. That's my prediction, Patrick.
Nice one. McGinty, same question to you, buddy. What do you think we need to do differently against Hibs, against St Mirren tomorrow to get the 3 points, get the victory? Same into viewers as well. Put the comments in.
Can I say plan B, whether that's meant to be?
Oh, no. That's a bad word towards Big Ange. Doesn't do plan B.
Oh, sorry. No, I think we need to find the midfield again. We need to find control. Find a real.
Sorry, mate.
Fred Durst should keep the faith. Hello, Gav.
Fuck you, you keep the faith shine.
We need to get.
Was Gavin away to the pictures again tonight with his boyfriend?
I don't know, but the last time he was at the pictures, he told me he went to see a film called Dog, and it was about a dog.
I should hope so.
Oh, right. I thought it was Brokeback Mountain. I thought it was something else. Sorry.
Anyway,
I wasn't sure if it was John or Joanna.
Right, you shut up, you fucking, like you said, Fred. When you go, McGinty.
I'll mute.
Nah, we need to control the midfield again. We've not done that for many games now. If we can get the ball into the midfield and start controlling it with an attacking purpose, get that tempo back, get that kind of fizzing through balls again that people can run onto. I don't understand why we're crossing the ball into Maeda. He needs the ball surely on the deck to him. If we can find that, or if we're going to play Giamakis, yeah, sure, whip the balls in. But we need a big win. More than anything else, we need a big win. It's been too long since, apart from the Rangers game, it's been too long since I feel like we've actually dominated a team, scored a barrel loads of goals, and says, we're Glasgow Celtic, we're here, and we need to do that again. Aye,
mate. I totally agree, mate.
There's a comment for Alan Woodson that I quite agree with, actually. Against St Mirren, got to start fast and keep it going and don't give away set pieces. We do, and as we've kind of proven this season, is that we like to come at the traps right ahead, and most teams haven't been able to deal with that. But the issue that we've been having lately is you've got guys like Rogic and O'Reilly have been playing the same team. They don't look as if they've got a kind of fluidity there when the two of them play. Rogic has been off the boil a wee bit as well. McGinty, turn that off, man.
Well, that's it.
It's him with his keyboard.
I muted myself. I think
Sounds like something
it
getting back
fucking-
with a shovel.
Is it roasted up the fucking Shetlands or what?
Rogic just went right after the boil. O'Reilly's kind of had a wee lull the last few games. The same with Hatate, and also you need to get guys like Hatate back playing with confidence. You know, being direct, going for the goal rather than the sideways. Because if Celtic just play to pass the ball to the side and try and whip the balls into either Maeda or Abada, who I suspect might be the forward tomorrow, then it's just going to be easy for the other teams to suss you out. They're going to do the exact same thing. So we need to play to our strength, and we need to play direct. We need to be going forward. We need to have our 3 forward guys all interchanging and moving all directions, not just out one way and try to come in the way. I mean, there needs to be a wee bit of class again. And there's Joseph Agnew, mate, one of the best posters, always been there for the start.
Legend.
Stop passing back sideways football. Played on the ground. Jota needs to go past a man before better crosses. Hail, keep the faith. Yep. And Alan Woods again.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to bring subs on earlier. If some players are gash, 5 subs, use them if needed. Yes, mate. Well said.
Yes, 100%. McGinty, I'm going to ask you a question. Out with Celtic, obviously, another transfer window coming up in the summer. I think I said kind of post Christmas when we won the League Cup and stuff. The Ange Postecoglou style certainly excites me if we win the league, going into a Champions League group. Obviously, depending who we get, but does Ange Postecoglou style excite you? Celtic at Paradise against a Barcelona, a Benfica, a Rosenborg, the usual shite teams we get. And how much do you think the height in the Celtic team that will affect us in European football as it has affected us in Scottish football in the last 6 months? I think the height's a massive thing. Other than Giamakis, it's probably, I've not had my measuring tape it, but I think it's probably the smallest squad we've had in fucking years. But how do you think we fare going into a Champions League group and the league this year with only Giamakis as a main focal point to hit, as in high balls? Do you think we were struggling in the Champions League, and do you think we need to sign another couple of tall players, which is probably the wrong thing to say, but quality players that we can change the game up with?
No, I don't think we need to change it too much. I think if we follow through with the Ange style of football, which is very similar to other European football teams, let's just call it what is similar to Pep Guardiola's style teams, playing the ball on the deck, passing it fast, high tempo, high intensity. If we play that kind of football, obviously nowhere near to the level of Man City or Bayern Munich or Barcelona, but if we play that style of football with confidence and with the players at our level that have that ability to do so, I think we would fare reasonably well, if not very well, against teams of the caliber of, as we said, Real Betis this campaign, Rosenborg previous to it. I think we do very well against them. When it comes to your big teams like Barcelona's and Juventus's and Milan's and all that, I'm not resigning ourselves to getting scalped every time, but you have to assume you're going to get beat. So do you change it for those games? Possibly, to try and sneak a draw, to try and sneak maybe our counter-attack winning goal, perhaps. But I think we have it in ourselves if we continue properly funding and properly backing this style of football. I think we have it in ourselves to be able to go regular and beat the teams that we should be beating, i.e. Leverkusen's, Betis, Rosenborg's, Bodo Glimt. Bodo Glimt are a perfect example recently of a team that's backed the manager for the last 3-4 years, believed in his system, believed in his ability to produce a squad over many years and reap the fruit of the labour. They're now, in the last 2 years, taking scalps off Roma and ourselves and playing with confidence, whereas we're wondering who the hell are this mob. They are not a team to be taken lightly. Bodo Glimt, that is Dale. They're the example of why you should be backing a system, backing a manager, and believing in him and giving the guy what he wants. And if you believe in that system and continue it properly, we should be fine. We will get beat off Barcelona's and Man City's of the world. We will. But do you want to take the game to them? Yeah, of course you do.
Yeah. A question I would like to pose to the viewers, that I'm in a hotel and obviously there's smoke alarms and stuff, but I'm quite far away from the main door. So what do the viewers think in me smoking out the window and not getting caught?
The worst thing you could be doing in a hotel, walking away, Dale.
We'll find out next week if Dale's with us from the same hotel room or not.
Listen, Dale, you know the script, my man. Get a soak and put it above. Put it in the fire alarm, mate. You'll be fine. And a rubber glove if you get one handed.
Is that a true story?
Of course it is, mate. I think there's a smoked in it. Filter. So, I'm going to leave the last comment to Frank Brennan, one of the viewers. When it comes to 10 games left, it doesn't matter if you're going for the title or trying to avoid relegation. It's now only all about winning and forget stylish victories. You just must win at all costs. I agree with that most of the time, mate, but I think absolutely every point's a prisoner now when you're trying to win the league. So you need to win every single point. But I think obviously with the way that Postecoglou says he's going to try and do it playing good football, which is what we want to see as well. I would probably settle for Gordon Strachan football now if it won us the league. But of course, if you're sitting there watching the football, you want to be entertained as well. So yes, our Celtic supporters are very, very greedy, mate. We just want to win, but we want to win at style. There's 10 games left. 10 games left in the league. And we really need to start getting the points on the board again in terms of full points. 3 points tomorrow against St Mirren at Celtic Park. Then I think the next game after that is Dundee United in the Cup, which I'm personally not too fucking interested in. The next game after that, guys, in the league is Livingston away. The bogey team. So 2 hard games coming up right away, especially Livingston. And there's Podrank as well. How are we doing, Paul?
How you doing, bro? Take care, mate. Aye, interview with Podrank on his channel as well, so check it out.
So, guys, just before we go, a couple of things quickly. Predictions, lads. McGinty, on you go.
I want to believe in Dell and go for a 4-0. That's what I want to see, so I'm going to go with it as well.
So, 4-0 for the two of you then?
4-0, mate. I'm going to say Callum McGregor, Kyogo, and a double for Abada.
You're expecting Kyogo back tomorrow?
Sorry, no Kyogo. Abada, McGregor, and Jota, 2.
Jota.
I'm going to go with 3 random-ass goal scorers and a wee sneaking 89th minute goal by Karamoko Dembele.
You can get yourself peace. I'm going to go for a much narrower 2-0 victory for Celtic. Probably, I'm going to go with Abada and Rogic. I'm going to go with Abada and Rogic. So I think Abada tomorrow is going to play as the forward player.
That's it. In fact, I'm going to change my mind. I think it'll be 1 each. And Joe Hart will score an overhead kick in the 90th minute. And
you're covering all options there.
Aye. And that wee bit the front of his hero for.
Too much shoulders.
Hey, yeah, I know we said it was going to be the last comment, but there's Frank Brennan. Karamoko lives in his heat for fuck's sake. You're right, mate. And I've got to listen to it every single week. I'm telling you, man,
these are all on YouTube forever to come. Back to this.
I'm telling you, Frank, I've never heard one guy going about one other guy so much. it's not even involved. But I listen.
What's your opinion on Neil Lennon there, Paddy?
Fuck you. There's an episode there that says, "Oh mate, just look back." I was going to say Celtic Supporters Podcast. It's known as the Jungle Gyms. Aye.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome, mate. It's just because I was going to plug you, mate. So, so if anybody didn't know, I'm going to plug him. So if anybody doesn't know,
Not the first time.
shut up and I'm trying to plug you.
Is that why he's in a hotel in Fort William?
Aye, it's fucking
Yes,
far away as you
mate,
can.
yes, mate.
As far away as you can, you'll get it. Aye, so if anybody doesn't know Dale at the bottom, the wee baldy man at the bottom there, name's Dale O'Reilly, YouTube, the Celtic Supporters Podcast. He does some brilliant interviews with people from all ranges about Celtic, about anything really. Dale, you want to say anything about tomorrow, mate, or will we keep that stum? Oh.
Nah, not really, mate. I put it on my Twitter page and that earlier last week that I'm having a wee break because I'm working up north and that for a wee while. But all going well. Tomorrow I have a Celtic hero icon coming on the podcast before I take my wee sabbatical for a couple of months. But aye, fingers crossed, mate. I've got somebody coming on tomorrow. Then I'm working away. I've got a load of shit today, man. To be honest with you, I'm fed up with the last 18 months, mate. And I'm honestly loving just coming on and talk to you guys. And I've said that before, without blowing smoke up fucking people's arses, that since I've knew yous and I started my podcast, that I started this to suppress my boredom and go on with stuff and that. But aye, the Jungle Gyms podcast, I've always promoted it on my Twitter and my Facebook and that, which I'm not on anymore. But by far the best weekly, the best post-match stuff, the best everything. Like McGinty, Paddy, Gav and Big Daz is on. I know a lot of people like to buy into the 26,000 subscribers on YouTube and all that, but just because of where I'm from, where Paddy's from, no, he swims with dolphins on a Tuesday, but I had sorry, I don't even know where that came from, but aye, for me, as I said, the Celtic Supporters Podcast, I said I'm taking a wee break. There's kind of 55, 56 videos to kind of look back on, just talk to Celtic fans and stuff like that. I've got a big name coming on tomorrow. I've tested out the night and it's kind of working. But aye, follow the Jungle Gyms for the weekly, the post match, and as I say, without being pals with Paddy and that, it's the best weekly bar none. Without a fucking shadow of a doubt, it's the best weekly bar none. The best post match, the best analysis. If you don't want to watch your P's and Q's and be fucking PC, then watch the Jungle Gyms, get involved in their Discord, get involved in their YouTube, get involved in their Twitter, get involved in everything. Aye. Jungle Gyms podcast, fuck the Celtic Supporters Podcast, because I'm disappearing for a couple of months. So, aye, get involved with the Jungle Gyms, fuck my podcast. These two guys, plus Gav, plus Dasbo, the guys to get involved with. I know the interaction's been growing in the last few weeks, and rightly so, because in my opinion it's the best about without a shadow of a fucking doubt. So just thanks for letting me on, mate, being up in Fort William, and I am just glad to come on again and get a wee chat, and it's been good to come on and get a wee talk with me again the night that I've not been on a podcast with. So aye, and all, mate. So aye, thank yous, and aye, good guys.
Well, thank you, mate. Thanks very much for that wee outro and the good plug there, mate. Really appreciate it. I just need to bring this one up because now that I'm looking at you and looking at this comment,
I see it.
It's absolutely spot on, by the way. So the both Frank Brennan. Frank, I love your comments, even when I don't agree with you, mate. I love them, but this one's a peach. He looks like Danny McGrain with no hair, wearing the 1986 Love Street jersey. I tell you what, if you're going to look like the baldy version of a Celtic legend, then Danny's probably one of the best.
That's the one. And to be fair, when I was in my prime at 16, 17-year-old, Danny McGrain's got fuck all in me. Tell you that.
I actually thought you looked like a prime Davy Moyes, but we'll not go there. I've had too much apple cider, so too much cough syrup. But aye, anyway, listen, thanks very much to Dale coming on. As he said, Celtic Supporters Podcast on YouTube tomorrow. If he's got time, 3 o'clock. Are you going live, Dale? If all goes ahead?
No, mate. No. I'm just going to record, mate. I'm just going to record it tomorrow. All going well, and obviously the Wi-Fi in fucking Fort William works. Then I'm just going to record, mate. And all going well with the interview. Then I'll put it out tomorrow night about 6 o'clock, mate.
Brilliant.
I'll ping you a wee message after, mate. I'll ping you a wee message after it. If it's went well, I'll send you the link to fire it on your Twitter stuff and that for me.
Ideal, mate. Well, there you are, guys. If he's ever keep an eye on YouTube tomorrow, maybe even Thursday, probably, because the games and that are on. But definitely give that a watch. So it's Celtic Supporters Podcast on YouTube.
It's Lana Wolf, anyway, mate. It's Lana Wolf. So.
Aye, she did her half-time tits.
Brutal.
Aye, she can rub her half-time tits up her arse.
Aye.
But anyway, that's been myself, Paddy, McGinty, and Dale. For
God bless, guys.
God bless. Before we go, thanks very much to everybody for watching. Always love the comments coming in. Very informative, funny, everything brilliant. Even the ones we don't agree with, keep them coming in. If you haven't done it already, give you a like and subscribe on the YouTube. Jump onto our Twitter at Jungle Gyms Pod. Join us on Facebook. We're probably going to come off Facebook, probably, because we hate Facebook. Actually, I'm not going to lie. Discord. We're on Discord, we're on Tic Talk and all. So if you want to keep up with us or join in with more discussion off camera, give us a wee shout on there.
There's only one thing I forgot to put in that list of random crap bloody social medias I'm trying to promote us on, is the Twitch one, which we're trying to now push for the live commentary stuff. So I don't care if we're going to be able to make it for tomorrow night. We still need to discuss that. But we're trying to push forward with a live Twitch chat with the fans. Obviously, we can't show the game live, but we're going to be discussing it as it's happening and just get a bit of chat, a bit of banter, much like we do on the podcast. Nothing serious. Have a couple of beers, watch the game, talk to a bunch of guys while you're doing it, sort of thing. So keep your eyes out on, especially on the Twitter feed. That's where we'll probably be posting most of the updates once we go live on the Twitch.
Brilliant. So as Anthony says here, we don't know if we're going to be on tomorrow night. Guys are working, going to the football, whatever. If we are, we'll try and put a wee reminder up for you on YouTube so that you can see it. But if we don't see you tomorrow night, let's hope the next time we speak, it's going to be another 3 points in the bag for the Tims and another 3 points lost for the Gimps in blue.
Yeah.
So for myself, Anthony McGinty and Dale O'Reilly, cheers everybody for watching.
Good night.
God bless, guys. Take care. God bless you.